Good evening, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. One of the things that people reveal when they write to me is fear, and they fear a lot of things. And recently I've had people who are trying to communicate that fear to me so that I will have that fear as well. Now, why on earth would anybody do that? Well, probably because they want me to be as afraid as they are. Now, the thing that they're afraid of is death. Boy, this is one that nobody talks about as far as I know. They don't talk about it. In fact, on our Fun Till Death Do Us Part video, which we did tongue-in-cheek as a funny video, many people said this is not right to talk about this. You know, you shouldn't talk about this. It's not funny, and so on. We did it as a joke, but I'm not joking now, although I am laughing at the idea that you should be afraid of anything. Why would you be afraid of anything? Now, recently I've had comments saying when you go walking, you should make sure that you have a cell phone with you, because if you fall, you might not be able to get up again. Others said you should no longer drive because you might have all kinds of things go wrong with you and just not be able to drive. But the thread that goes through all of it is fear. Now, a friend of mine, a musician, trumpet player, admittedly hard living, he liked his cigarettes and he liked his booze, and he began feeling a little bit strange when walking the streets of London, and so much so that conveniently, as he was close to a hospital and had national health, so it wasn't going to cost him anything, he went into the emergency room and said, "I think I'm having a heart attack." And they looked at him and said, "Get out of here. How old are you?" And he said, 36. And so he described how he felt, and they whipped him in to a bed. And this sounds like a fictional story. It's not. It's an absolutely true story. It turns out that they had on standby a heart transplant team of doctors, surgeons, who were actually waiting to do a heart transplant, and the organ, the donor organ, had been delayed in traffic somewhere or for some reason, and so, but they were there and they were available, and they whipped him in, and they had him open in minutes, and a very, very short time later he was lying in bed and had a bypass and had his life saved. Had he not been in that situation, he probably would have died. Well, that's what people are asking me to fear. Well, how would you begin to go about a day in which you fear having a heart attack? How would you do that? How would you go about a day in which you fear having a stroke? How would you get through the day? Is the stroke going to happen before 12 o'clock or afterwards? Will I do it on a full stomach, or maybe that will be the heart attack? But my blood pressure's normal, you see. Oh well, let's not let facts get in the way of a good story, okay? Have your heart attack and don't spoil everything, okay? It's not something that you can live with. Well, in pursuit of this, because it's said so much better than I can say, and that is Joseph Heller's Catch-22, which is my other Bible, if you wish, if I may be so irreverent and not disrespectfully. Oh God, I'll have the respect police onto me now. They'll have to get in line with the haircut police and the unironed shirt police and others. Well, I have this earmarked in my book of Catch-22, and Yossarian is the hero, or perhaps you might say the anti-hero. He says, they were There were too many dangers for Yossarian to keep track of. We're talking now about all of the things that you can be afraid of. There were too many dangers for Yossarian to keep track of. There was Hitler, Mussolini and Tojo, for example, and they were all out to kill him. And there was the bloated colonel with his fat moustache and his fanaticism for retribution, and they wanted to kill him too. There was Appleby, Havermeyer, Black and Korn. There was Nurse Kramer and Durst Duckett, who he was almost certain wanted him dead. And there was the Texan and CID man about whom he had no doubt. There were bartenders, bricklayers and bus conductors all over the world who wanted him dead. Landlords and tenants, traitors and patriots, lynchers, leeches and lackeys, and they were all out to bump him off. That was the secret Snowden had spilled to him on the mission to Avignon. Snowden got killed. There were lymph glands that might do him in. Listen to this now. There were kidneys, nerve sheaths and corpuscles. There were tumours of the brain. There was Hodgkin's disease, leukemia, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. There were fertile red meadows of epithelial tissue. I'm not promising that I'll get all of this right. To catch and coddle a cancer cell. There were diseases of the skin, diseases of the bone, diseases of the lung, diseases of the stomach, diseases of the heart, blood and arteries. There were diseases of the head, diseases of the neck, diseases of the chest, of the intestines, of the crotch. There were even diseases of the feet. There were billions of conscientious body cells oxidating away day and night like dumb animals at their complicated job of keeping him alive and healthy, and every one was a potential traitor and a foe. There were so many diseases that it took a truly diseased mind to even think about them as often as he and Hungry Joe did. So much to be afraid of. Where are we going to start? I might walk out on that muddy thing and I might slip, and when I slip I might hit my head. I might have well, I might have all kinds of things, if only to not to disagree with everybody. But the idea that I should, seriously, the idea that I should start my day making sure that my cell phone is in my pocket, not because I want to tell Beth how much I miss her when I'm down in Taliban and she's up here not feeling so well, not because I might want to take a call from someone who needs help that I can then go on and help, not someone who is trying to help me with my mission, not the Bureau of Immigration who is trying to tell me that, hey, everything is okay, not someone who is trying to attack me that is going to call me and say, listen, why don't we just let it all drop and I'll be nice from now on. No, I've got to carry my cell phone because I might fall on my arse and not be able to get up again. And somebody else said, I really appreciate what you're doing to help people, but don't go overboard, right? You've got to have limits. Why? You've got to have limits. You've got to have boundaries. You've got to set boundaries. You've got to be able to say no. Why? It's important, isn't it? Why? You've got to be kind. So when I'm being kind to someone, I say, oops, my radar's gone off. I've gone over the limit. I'm sorry, I can't be any more kind anymore. Because we've crossed a boundary. And when I was going to help you get the other leg up onto the tricycle, that crosses the boundary. It goes over the limit. There is no limit to, there's no limit to living. There's no limit to how you get through the day. There's no limit to saying I love you, but not all that much. How can there be a limit? How can there be a limit on that? Can you say, I can't give you anything more because I don't have it? Yes, you can. Can you say, I think you should go and work a little harder at what you do? instead of coming to me and expecting me to save you a day's work. I think you could do that too. Maybe these are the limits and boundaries that people are talking about. But most of the time it seems that people are making these limits out of fear that, well, they won't have enough. Even a man who wrote a very nice letter said, I love my Philippine family and I know that they will take care of me. Maybe there's a little fear there, that he fears that there might be a time when someone will have to take care of him. Along with the fellow who had a heart attack at 36, my brother, who was also a robust, strong guy. You didn't mess with my brother, because he would clip you around the ear and you would know about it. He called me a chicken wing. He used to say, there's nothing to you, Terence. You're like a bloody chicken wing. He was tough. He was fun. He lived life to the full. And he was dead when he hit the ground. And the one thing that everybody knew was that they were not to hook him up to wires and tubes and machines, because he'd faced his death before that, at that early age, in his early 50s, and said, don't do that to me. I'm not an animal. I'm me. And when the time comes, I will go with dignity and grace and courage. And he did. Now for me, people have outlined the terrible risks. They're very, very clear on how they do this. They say you're so isolated there that if anything happens to you, you'll be dead before they get you down to the road. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Others say, you're looking very tired, Terence. I always thrive on being told that. I actually told someone, don't tell Beth that she looks tired. No woman wants to hear that, and neither do I. People think, or they talk without thinking. I read a book once where the father advised his son, never pass up the chance to keep your mouth shut. Boy, it's a little bit hard. It's a little bit chainsaw mouth, isn't it? But it does ring of the truth. So you can't go through the day with fear. It's just not, it's not workable. And when you try to teach someone else to go through their day with fear, got to look at what your intentions are there. I had a recent exchange, very short exchange because I just deleted it, talking about you can't stop the march of time, Terence, because this will start to happen and your memory will fade and your knees will go and your bum will hurt and lots more. Gone. I know only too well how old I am. In July I will be 70. Let me see.
You're not 70,
80 years old. Thank you, darling. She's just told me. I was just used to saying I'm 79, and in July I will be 80. Good God, you were actually listening? Beth?
Once you're talking
You were actually listening?
Once you're talking your age, I'm listening because I make sure that you will not be mistaken.
See, there's always somebody, even right behind you, who is there to correct you. Just when you're feeling happy, they'll say, what have you got to be happy about?
There's a lot to be happy, you know. There's a lot to be happy. It's because you wake up for another day, because you have a good health, you know, because you're able to breathe, you know. So there's a lot
able to breathe?
Yeah, there's a lot to be happy and there's a lot to be thankful for. And watch out, soon
Why? I'm going to die soon? Should I be afraid of that?
No, because we will be back soon. You know, because we will be back soon. Back soon. we're hoping that we're gonna distribute the balikbayan box. You know, we love to see the smiles of the kids.
We're hoping.
We're hoping and praying for that.
At the
Just
moment,
one more. Just one more push.
Can I speak now? At the moment, we're bound and gagged, as you must realise. Not because we don't want to tell you, but because we're bound and gagged, aren't we? Just keep your mouth shut. Don't tell anybody what's happening. Isn't that it?
Yeah. It's a good thing because we make others shut up.
I hope if you're out there thinking how wonderfully clear everything is going to be when you're married to your Filipina, I hope you're watching this because you may be a man in confusion. When yes is no and no is yes and neither is maybe, or they're all maybe, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Thank you for watching. There is nothing to fear but fear itself. That's a famous quote, I think. I won't try to claim that as my own. It's not possible to start your day with fear. It's not possible to end it with fear. What are you going to do? Be afraid? I might fall asleep and never wake up. You will be so lucky. Personally, I'd like to go doing something exciting. On my 80th birthday, I'm going back to do the plunge. Right now, I hold the record at Danau Adventure Park, that I am the oldest man to do the plunge. And I want to make sure that my record is safe, and complain that they haven't given me my bloody certificate. We'll be back and I will be doing the plunge, and I will be doing a video that hopefully has a happy ending. Am I afraid? This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Thanks for being with us. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to like, okay? We have thousands of views and hundreds of likes, and we want the numbers to start equalizing. That would be nice. Thanks for being with us. Ta-ta for now.